Burn garbage day. Not looking good on the home front here, folks. Wind always has to blow the shit all over me. Yeah, it's nice. Hopefully the wind don't get blowing too fucking hard. It's not really wet around here anymore like it was. Kind of dry. So I'm gonna try to burn a little bit by little bit here. Oh my, I tell you, the more it rains around here, the more it fucking pours. But anyway, I did, well, kind of get a job, but it don't start till next month. It's running the old street sweeper again, but it's only a 4-month venture. It's just a contract to clean up all the curbs in Garrett County. I'll do that and then I guess see what else the old boy has for me. If anything else. Going back to no health insurance, no retirement. Probably a week's vacation. Be about it. About a week's vacation. I'm making more money. I'm supposed to make $25 an hour on this job. That's all good. Oh, dog, be quiet. Damn dog. People, don't get dogs. They're a pain in the ass. Especially German Shepherds. Don't get any fucking German Shepherds. Those fucking dogs are retarded. They run into things. They do stupid shit. I was bringing the idiot in last night and he fucking knocked his foot off the goddamn stairs. He whined for an hour like he was dying. I was thinking, oh no. I hope to hell your goddamn foot isn't fucked up or some shit. But after I kind of babied him a little bit, it's like he was okay then after that. So I usually burn the bag too, but not this time. Gotta kind of conserve around here. Hey dog, hey, be quiet. Uh-oh, here comes our not so friendly friend, the wind. Yeah, don't need him coming here. Trying to clean this shithole up around here today. Since really didn't have anything else better to do. And it was nice out. A little maintenance on the old Daytona. Tell you what, man, working on that car, that oil pressure sending unit, is a son of a bitch. They let on like it's so goddamn easy. When that one other video, YouTube video I watched, and it's not so easy. We have great big arms and great big hands. I have great big forearms, and you just can't reach down into those places. So, I mean, it's something else. So what you got to do is you have to, on the front of the engine, take your air box assembly off, your air intake hose, take the top of the box off, just move that hose completely out, take your belt tensioner, move it over all the way, take your serpentine belt off your alternator. Then you got to get down in there with a ratchet and a 15 millimeter socket and loosen up those real long bolts that go in sideways to the bracket for the alternator. You got to take that alternator to the side. Plus you got to disconnect the battery in the trunk so you don't throw it against something metal, and because the fire will fly and then you'll burn up fucking fuses and relays and all that other garbage that's in there, and plus the ABS fucking block is right there in your fucking road. You got to reach over those goddamn lines to try and get this stuff all loose. Damn smoke. And damn. Anyhow, after you get all that off, then you can see the sensor, which it's right like behind the alternator. It's next to the oil pressure temperature sensor. I'm sorry, oil temperature sensor is right next to the oil pressure sensor, or switch, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's next to it. You got to unplug it. Then you take a little red tab off fucking the plug, push your little tab down, unplug it, pull it off, get your special socket you got to buy. I'll show you that in a minute. You take it out, you hold it out, which, you know, it stands a chance of breaking off, and it's pretty fucking tight in there because it's been in there for a long time, since, you know, probably 2005. So anyway, you gotta get all that shit loose, pull it out. Now, the new one has like some kind of thread sealer on it. Got all this shit. Yeah. Anyhow, it's got like a little bit of red shit on the threads, so you don't have to put any thread lock or anything on it. Anyway, poker. There we go. Well, and I went ahead and changed the oil in the old Charger because it hasn't been changed in like 4 years. So went ahead and changed that. I had a few bucks extra. Went to Walmart, bought their brand, a synthetic 520. Changed it. Got a Fram DuraGuard, Extra Guard. I think it's extra guard filter with the textured ends. You can really raunch it down on there. That had a Wix on it before, but you know, it was showing its age. It wasn't rusty, but seal was looking pretty rough. So anyhow, did all that shit. Got that out of the road. Put an air filter in it. Of course, cheapy Fram shit. I did that. I swept this shithole up a little bit. Oh look, more boxes to burn. Ooh, toxic plastic. Ooh, the trees are gonna like me for that. Ooh. So, I got that bullshit done today. And I'm supposed to register to take some kind of traffic control manager test for the state. It's an online course. You got to take, I think, like 6 or 8 hours. You got to register to take it. There's a course you got to read through online. I guess depending on you. And you got to read through this, then answer the multiple choice questions at the end. And it's about $195 to take it, and my new old boss is going to pay for it. I'm going to go through this. I don't have Google Chrome on computer here because my wife's work switched their stuff to Microsoft, and Microsoft doesn't offer this, so I got to use a Google Chrome, and that is on up there at my boss's office. So I got to go up there and take it, but I got to register first, and it's 2 business days before you can take the test. Then we'll see what happens with it, and I guess then hopefully I pass it, because if I pass it, I can make a lot of money with that little certification under my belt. But I think you got to retake it every 5 years, because you know the state's got to make money off of you. But yeah, they got to make a few bucks off of you, and that's usually how it goes, you know. So anyway, this is my paper garbage burning session. I always separate my trash, burn all the paper stuff. Look at that, we got us. The ash off my phone. Got us full moon there tonight, kiddies. Boy, it's not real clear looking, is it? Damn moon. Okay, anyway. So I'm still waiting on my IRA retirement check. After they tax it to death, I'll get whatever's left, and then I'll get taxed when I do my taxes next year on it again. You know, because the federal government, they love taxes. They love your tax money. Yeah. And you know why. So hopefully that changes, but I don't think it's going to change. Because, you know, it seems like, I mean, I like Donald Trump and everything. I voted for him. But one thing, though, sometimes he's like an advertisement in a newspaper. And a newspaper warns you. If the ad sounds too good to be true, it usually is. I'm not bad-mouthing the boy or nothing like that, so. But, you know, it's one of those things where he says he's going to do all this stuff, and he has obstructions along the way. And you get these obstructions This won't even sit on the brake box. You bitch. It ain't gonna sit on there. You dirty, dirty whore. So anyway, the man faces obstructions along the way trying to do this stuff because these people are used to doing things a certain way. And when you go in, when you're not really a politician, and you go in, you're elected, and you go in and you try to run things like a business, like with people that are used to being corrupt and all that other good stuff. Well, good for them. Shit like this is going to happen. You're going to run into lots of red tape. There's going to be obstructions, and there's going to be postponements, and there's going to be all kinds of bullshit go down, and court hearings, and judges making rulings. So, anyway, that's usually what happens. But let me show you this socket you got to get if you have one of these Dodge Chargers. Looks like this. And it fits the end of it in there. You can take the old one out. It's kind of oblong and weird looking. It's long, it's deep well. And it's got a 3/8 drive hole in the end of it. Or if you're having troubles, it's got like a bolt looking back on it for a little extra leverage, I guess, if you can get it that way. But probably a ratchet is probably your best bet. If you can get a 1/2-inch drive ratchet and put a 3/8 adapter on the end of it and put it in here, that'll get it out real fast. So, but you got to be real careful and crack it loose. Oh, well, that's stupid. Anyway, you got to crack it loose slowly because it's been in there for a while. This socket, it has a warning on it. And you know, people are fucking stupid. And I'll explain to you. Now, somebody's had to done this. I don't know how, but they did it. It says, warning, do not use while engine is running. Really? I don't get it. So I use these brake shoes here, brake pads. Cancer and reproductive harm. Go to www.p65warnings.california.gov. All right. Maybe it's because they're asbestos linings, perhaps. But that's one thing, though, I don't get about brake pads is you're making them with shit that causes cancer, and when you get that dust, because when I was in auto mechanics in high school, we had some videos we watched. And we also had the equipment at school. There was this box. It was round, and you slid it over like your brake drums, or you pulled the drum off, and you slid this over the brake assembly. And you reached in there with a vacuum hose, just your hand, and vacuumed the assembly off, vacuumed all the dust off of it. And that's what you did. And that's to prevent that from getting in the air and you breathing it in and stuff like that. Of course, when you're doing that shit at home, you don't have that equipment. So you would breathe it in sometimes. You'll break dust. But they tried to help you in that case. Put that on there and keep you from breathing that. And we were trained on that back then. Or we were shown videos and how to do it and all that other good stuff. And you did the same with the front. You just take it, and it was on wheels. You just took it over and slid it right over the drum or the brake rotor and did the same thing. And I mean, it was a good idea. It had a window in it, so you could see what you're doing. I think we used it once up there. Then after that, we never used it again. So it was like, who cares? But anyhow, it's kind of depressing here tonight, and I got an email saying that I wasn't qualified enough for a job I applied for to do maintenance, general maintenance on vehicles. Okay, I mean, I don't know everything there is to know about cars, okay? There's some things I just don't know. I don't know how to rebuild transmissions. I've watched it done, but in order for me to really get something like that down, because there's so many parts inside an automatic transmission, I would have to do it hands-on for quite a while with, being supervised and, with a good teacher. Like, Uncle Big Block, he's well-versed in turbo 400 and 350s and stuff like that. And he can, he can modify them and rebuild them with his fucking eyes closed. I can't. I helped him do my transmission in the Chevelle here. I cleaned up the shit that he dug out of it. I cleaned it all up for him, had it ready to go for reassembly. And of course, clutches, you put all new clutches and stuff like that in there. And we did everything but turn it into a manual valve body. And we never put a trans brake in it, of course. And it wasn't I just said it wasn't a manual or reverse valve body. We just, and he showed me that there was tricks you could make it do certain things, like reverse valve body, all that stuff. There was things you could do to it. I don't remember exactly what it was. I can't remember. But anyhow, yeah, I helped him do that, which, when you do that with relatives, a lot of times that helps keep the costs down. So we had a deal, and we did some parts trading and, and all that good stuff. I was willing to do some labor, to help it. And we're going to have another transmission here to overhaul probably. I have a turbo 350 in this truck. I would like to modify that bastard. I'll have to find another one to take up, so in case there's something wrong inside of this one, or if there's nothing wrong with this one, just a good overhaul and some heavy duty shit put in there to make her really bark the tires when you shift the gear, or when you kick it out of passenger, screeches the tires. This truck here has 410 rear ends in it, and yeah, if I ever get back to work steady, I'll want to do that with this truck. As far as, rebuilding an engine, I don't know if I'm going to live long enough to ever rebuild this one I have in here from the Chevelle. I sure would love to rebuild that and put it back in the Chevelle where it came from. That's one thing I would really like to do. And this engine in the Chevelle, pull it out and put that Lenati camshaft I had in this other engine years ago. I still have the cam in the cabinet over here. It was a really good cam. It really responded well to rear end changes. It was an excellent cam. It had a little lope to it, which is awesome. I like that. And this cam that's in this engine right here, I might get the numbers off of it and just buy a brand new one just to be safe. Crane Cams, they have a website where you take the numbers on the end, and Crane Cam's website will tell you everything about that grind. So you can determine what you're going to do with it. This engine's 40 over. It's been bored 40 over. It's got flat top hyper-eutectic pistons. It was balanced and blueprinted. I put a different camshaft in it, of course. I put one that was like a 510 lift, a lot lumpier than the one that was in there. Of course, I have some old videos. Feel free to check them old videos out. before I pulled that engine out of there, I had a couple of cold starts, that nice rough idle, that choppy fucking idle that it had. It's an excellent, excellent cam. I love it. I think it's a Jegs cam, I believe. Out of Jegs, I think. Jegs High Performance. So anyway, yeah, we're on the frontier, trying to get back to work, and I got the power company up my ass wanting to shut my electric off. I don't have no money yet. My retirement check did not come through yet. Still waiting on that. Got to get groceries this weekend. I do get one more Heritage check, and I think it's only going to be about a week's worth. Plus, I have to go up here to the concrete joint, and this guy said he'd pay me for the 4 hours I worked with a check. I'm going to have to go up there tomorrow and get that. And I got all kinds of shit I'm going to get into tomorrow. So, before the weekend, because I have to register to take that course. For that, is really pushing me to do it. I don't know if I can pass or not. I don't know exactly what it consists of. All I know is it's reassuring that your crew that you're watching, you're safe. You make sure they're safe. You watch for anything that's, not supposed to happen and try to correct the problems. And you're just basically, you supervise the work crew. You supervise them and, basically try to keep everybody safe so we can all go home at the end of the day safely. And a job like that is like 4 days a week. It's like 4 10s. And then you're usually off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you go back in Monday morning and you do the same thing. You like coordinate traffic patterns in case you have to shut down a lane of a 2-lane highway or 1 lane on the interstate. The interstate's horrible because people are flying down that motherfucker. And you can have signs up everywhere and people still fly. That's one thing that raised the fucking hair on the back of my neck when I did a sweeper contract years ago, was being on the fucking interstate in the hammer lane cleaning a bridge with that, because people they just fucking fly. You have a crash truck behind you too. It's that long truck with the blinking lights on the back, and it's got that big long platform hanging off the back of it. And it's got these barriers inside the cage that's hanging off the back of the truck. So they're going to take the brunt of whatever force may come down through there and hit. They're going to be the first ones hit, and that thing on the back is supposed to absorb most of that impact. So, yeah. So people, if you're ever out there on the interstate going down and you see signs, hey, road work ahead, left lane's closed or right lane's closed, whatever, slow your fucking ass down. Get down to 55. Get down to 55 miles an hour. Go past those people in a fucking orderly manner, not being reckless, and just, if y'all do that, things will happen in a good way, and everybody stays safe, and we don't have any problems. That's what you need to do. I've done this shit over the years, and, obviously you want to stay safe, and you don't want to do dumb shit. And you don't want to see anybody else do dumb shit either, like getting a hammer and clubbing a rock out from in between 2 dual tires on a big truck. That's not something you want to do. You want to wrap a chain around it and hook it to a truck or something while everybody stands way back out of the way and pull that fucking rock out. Or like on the old rock trucks down here where I was, what you do is you tie the chain around the rock, and then you hook it to the bed bottom. Because you have the bed up in the air, you hook it to the bed bottom Then the driver lets the bed down. In turn, chain pulls up, pulls the fucking rock right out of the in between the tires. About 90% of the time it works. So, if not, the guy with the tool truck will come down, wrap a chain around, and hook his bumper of his tool truck, and just give it a little tug, and it'll come out of there. So you never take a hammer and beat a rock out from in between doors of a triaxle, big truck, like a tractor trailer, or a fucking off-road rock truck, earth hauling monster, because that's how you die. Those tires can explode because that added pressure, because they already have 110 fucking PSI in them already. So you're talking about that plus the force of a retreaded fucking tire flying off there and possibly hitting you above the eyes or anywhere on the head or, wherever. You get hit in the head with something like that. If it doesn't kill you, you'll be like you're lobotomized. You'll just be a vegetable of some kind, or it'll make you mentally retarded. And I've heard of this. It's like the old dually trucks that had the rings on the wheels. Usually back in the day, they would wrap chains around those because they had like a spoked center. It was the drum of the truck. And you had wedges and nuts. And whenever you put the wheel on, you would put the wedges and then the lug nuts on all the studs. And that's what held your wheels on. Plus you had a spacer in between. And some of them had a ring on the outside to hold the lip on of the tire so the lip wouldn't come past it. And a lot of times what happens is whenever you put a new tire on that wheel, you put that ring on, then you wrap chains around it, because sometimes they'll blow off of there while you're airing the tire up. But what happens is you use one of those air tanks with the spout on it, point it towards it, and you open it up, and it puffs air in the tire and blows it out so it starts to seal while you have air going in the valve. So that you can do that with them. That's how they air those tires up, because it takes long fucking tire bar tools to pull them off and put them back on and all that other shit. I've never done it myself because I've seen this bullshit. I was actually around a guy in the past that he was airing up a tire that was on a truck, and the casing of the recap tire was not good, and he puffed it up for it to start to seal and had the air going in the valve and started inflating. And it was sealing up, and then the sidewall blew out of it and knocked him back through the fucking garage and had a fucking eyeball hanging out and all this other shit. It was gross. And, the guy, died for a certain period of time. But he was lucky. He pulled through it, a little bit of plastic surgery, and fixed him up. And he was good to go, which was amazing. I'm glad that the guy made a full recovery. But anyhow, I'm not going to say any names or where I worked at the time or who it was, because I don't need that bullshit on me. But anyway, it was a scary situation, so it's a bad situation. But anyhow, everybody, I was going to record the Chevelle starting today because I had to move it outside, and it actually didn't leak much transmission fluid over the couple months it's been sitting in here, and went right into gear, and it actually was full transmission fluid. It didn't leak much out. So, but the old truck here, yeah, I put a pan gasket on this bitch, and it's just like I didn't put any on it. I didn't put a gasket on, I just slapped the pan back on, it just leaks like crazy. It just pushes it out because it still has pressure in it, I guess. And the hole underneath of this son of a bitch is just nothing but fucking transmission fluid. So yeah, I'm going to have to check it. Usually when you pull the stick, when it's cold, not running, if it's up like, I don't know, like this much further past the full mark, that means usually it's right on or close to it. Because when that pump's going to pick it up and pull it down a little bit. You know, a lot of times they'll pull it right in the operating range. But, yeah, that's how you can tell. So you got to pull it out, wipe it off, put it in there, pull it out, look at it, and see where it's at. Which I'll have to do with this. And the dipstick's so short in this fucking truck. I got to step on a goddamn crate to get up over to get the goddamn dipstick out of it. So anyhow, that's how it's going here these days. Hopefully things work out for me. But that kind of made me mad about that job, getting that email about that other job, saying I wasn't qualified enough, you know. And I've been wrenching on these fucking cars and rebuilding cars and restoring vehicles with my dad since I was fucking 14 years old. Before that, I built model cars. I mean, I know that's not really wrenching, but still, I had a shitload of model cars from Revell and Monogram and AMT Ertl and MPC and all those places. I had all these fucking model cars. I still have a few. Here's one in a box here on my workbench. Of course, I didn't buy it. It's my neighbor's. He wants me to glue the shit back together because that old glue dries out and they start falling apart. But anyhow, I had a few. Well, I had a whole bunch. I had a whole cabinet, a display cabinet clear full of those fucking things. GTOs, Chevelles, fucking Corvettes, Tri-5 Chevys, pickup trucks, all that shit. Anything I could get. Like back then, they didn't have a lot of 67 to 72 Chevy truck models for some reason. They had the 55 step side street rod truck, and then they had the 55 Cameo Chevy truck. And then they had, what else did they have? Like the 90s model. Oh, yawning like a bitch. Like the 90s model Chevy truck. Had one. It was a 454 SS pickup is what it was. I had those models. Sometimes I'd pull them apart and wet sand them because I didn't like how they turned out. I'd wet sand them and paint them again. Sometimes they'd crack up and you'd have to do it again because the solvents wasn't dry in the paint. And then you'd have to do this over again. I'd get little packs of wet sand and paper from the Surplus City store down here. They had all that stuff in there. Get spray paint, paint them. I painted one in my room one time. I had to put it was in the summertime. I had my window fan in, blowing air in from outside, because upstairs in the home place down there was hot as fuck in the summertime. It's so fucking hot up there. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of insulation up there. There still isn't, really. There's a little bit more in there than my dad put in. He put the heating system in. But, yeah, I had a towel or a blanket across the bottom of my door so you couldn't smell that paint. Because I did it one other time, forgot to put that fucking towel under my door. My mother come fucking barreling up the stairs like, "You painting them fucking cars in here?" I'm like, fuck. No, I'm not. Well, I smell spray paint. I was like, I'm sorry. It's, it's just these model paints I got with a brush, Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, I got my ass beat for that. And plus I dumped paint thinner out the fucking window. We had a big brown spot in the fucking grass down where I dumped a bunch of fucking paint thinner I was using to clean brushes with. I had an old bouillabaisse jar with a lid on it. I'd pour it, I cleaned it all out, and I'd pour paint thinner in it and take it into my room. And I'd have my brushes in there cleaning them off for the little Testors model paints. That was awesome. If I ever get extra time, I'd like to build another one. I'd like to build a few. I think I have one or two in here I didn't build. They're still in boxes. But, yeah, those are fun. That's what really got me. Well, that was part of what got me motivated into, hot rodding and stuff. And my dad's GTO was the main influence on me. The Judge down here was the main influence. That's why I got into it, mainly. Because when I was a little kid, I thought that there was nothing like my dad's car. And I thought, man, that car makes everybody else's car look like shit. And when I watched, like the Dukes of Hazzard growing up, and I thought, oh my God, that is so awesome. I believed that your general could jump and not get damaged. Bullshit like that. And I really enjoyed Knight Rider. The fucking talking fucking car, that cool fucking light on the front of it. I just thought those shows were so badass. I still watch them on occasion. I have them all on DVD, but my DVD player doesn't really work very good now, so you really can't see nothing but the Dukes of Hazzard movie with what the fuck's his name, Johnny Knoxville in it, and Willie Nelson, and that piece of ass Jessica Simpson in it, which she's a good looking girl. She wasn't bad. There's even a nip slip in that. When she goes to sit on Enos's desk, she pulls her overcoat off, their bikini on. She's sitting down. When she's crouching down to sit on the desk and her boobies are right there in his face, there's a nipple. There's a nipple out. So check it out. Check it out. I would pause it on the DVD and zoom in, because my DVD player had a zoom in option. Yeah. I could see her nipple. Say, I see your nipple, Jessica. It's fucking funny. It's hilarious. I loved it. It's fucking funny as shit. I mean, that movie was okay. The original cast of the Dukes, they didn't like it because of all there's some nudity, cussing, and stuff like that in it, and they don't think that's family entertainment. And they're right. It's not. It's not family entertainment, but yeah, I thought it was pretty entertaining. I get the unrated version on DVD, and it showed some extra footage of some extra boobies. So, which it's like fuck yeah, it really had some stereotypes in there, like the girls in the dorms just standing around with no shirts on. Come on now, that don't happen. At least while they're sober, it doesn't anyway. Because, we all know that women don't like to have sex, so, that's for you, my one female viewer out there, if there is one. Usually on my analytics, it says 100% male audience. So I did have a time or two where there was a female or two watched it, and I think it was like 2 or 3% on there. So I can't help it. I don't have good content here. So anyway, everybody, I'm done ranting, done burning my garbage. I'm going to go over here and couch up a little bit and watch a little bit of terrible television with my wife, because she watches horrific programming. Mainly reality shows about, there's a British show that comes on. It's like you got to find the, like the traitors of the bunch. And the more traitors you expose and find, the more money gets in your pot for everybody. And usually it ends up, there's only 2 at the end. And always, if there's a traitor left at the end, the traitor gets all of the money. And he has a choice. He or she has a choice to share the money with the person that is not the traitor. So if they're good and they succeed in, tricking you into believing that they're a good person and not the traitor, and it's like, well, usually if there's no traitor, you win the money, duh. And it's that European fucking money, so it's not good money. It's not as good as our money, so. But anyhow, it's either that or 90 Day Fiance or 600 Pound Life, which I don't mind that show. I'll sit around and eat cookies and stuff when I watch that show, or I'm eating pizza. Something that, fat people love to eat. I'm watching these people whine how fat they are and how they weigh 600 fucking pounds and 700 pounds. And yet that doctor on there, he's running around raising hell at them, telling them how, basically that, he's throwing common sense at them and they don't like to hear it. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't lose the 50 pounds this month, doctor. And he's like, why didn't you lose it? Why didn't you lose it? You were eating sweets again, weren't you? You fat bastard. And they're like, no, I wasn't. I was exercising and eating broccoli just like you told me. But then I went to Taco Bell, and then I went to McDonald's, and then I went to KFC, and hey, I didn't eat the bread, okay? Yeah. That's bullshit and you know it. You keep this fucking shit up and I'm not gonna do this belly staple on you. Yeah. I like making fun of that show too, but I piss everybody off when I do that shit. Make them all mad because, I make fun of the shit. The 90 Day Fiance is the one I really hate. And TLC keeps pushing this fake fucking show about polygamy. The sister wife show. And it's like, come on. If people were seriously doing, if there's a pack of Mormons out west and them flyover plain states actually doing this, the FBI would find out about it and probably burn their fucking houses down or something. I don't know. But that's against the law. You can't practice polygamy. We have freedom of religion, but the Mormons have two different testaments, and the old one is the guys that have like 6 fucking wives or 4 wives or 3 or whatever, and they got all these fucking kids, and it's like, how in the fuck, if you're not a rich man, you ain't gonna be able to take care of all these fucking people and have 3 kids apiece to like 4 women? Holy shit, man. Guy can't live much past his fucking 30s, can he? Having all that stress. And you know how women are. And he would like, they had a TV show on HBO called Big Love that we used to watch. And that's what it was about. But this guy was keeping it secret, and Bill Paxton was in it. He was keeping it secret. He had one wife, and then he got another. And then he helped another one out. As a woman, she was down on her luck. She was desperate, and they knew who she was. And he took her on, and she already had kids, or a kid, to somebody else that I guess was abusing her or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it went. I don't remember. But he had this big business, and nobody knew he had these wives. And you never had an end to the show because he died. Old Bill Paxton died before the show was over. It was like he died in between seasons, so they never had the last season of the show. It was on HBO, so it wasn't bad. And because he was servicing these 3 women, he was, 50 years old or whatever, trying to service these women, and he was taking Viagra a lot. And they say that prolonged use of Viagra will affect your vision and your hearing and raise your blood pressure and possibly give you a heart attack if you're not careful. So, There was an episode where he was like, "What's wrong with me, Doc? I'm having trouble seeing. I can't hardly hear. What the hell?" And he's like, "It's all the Viagra that you're fucking taking." He's like, "I'm going to take you off that shit." "Oh, you can't. I got to perform." And he's like, "You're gonna have to just stop." And I think the doctor knew he had that lifestyle. So, but it's like you can't really broadcast it. And TLC, and they have that on there, that guy with the long curly blonde fucking fake blonde hair, and the show is just bullshit. I don't believe a fucking minute of it. It's bullshit. It can't be real. And they keep dragging it along, trying to make you think that it's real. And it's not. It's not real. It's fucking fake. TLC should be called it ain't the Learning Channel anymore. They shouldn't call it the Learning Channel. It's called the Liar Channel, is what it should be called. It's some terrible shit. And then all those little people they have on there, all those shows with them on there. I mean, if you like that, fine. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to pry into dwarves' lives, and they have like normal kids and shit. Used to watch the one with the guy that had the farm, and he was in the little scooter chair because his hands was all like crippled up and fucked up. And he had to use crutches to walk. I think he had a touch of polio or something, or those little people, they get those diseases with their legs where they have, I don't remember what it's called. It's something where their legs are like bowed and fucked up. They get that way later on. And sometimes they have extra fluid on their brains or something like that. And they have to have those surgical tubes put in where it drains the fluid out of the extra fluid out of your brain down to your bladder, so you pee it out all the time and shit like that. And they were always fighting. And those women, a lot of those women that are little people, a lot of them look the same. I guess it's just the dwarfism part of it, I guess, that makes them all kind of look similar. They all look like they're related, but I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm just pointing out a fact. But anyhow, I'm getting into stupid shit now. I need to shut the fuck up and end this shit. I'll keep you updated if you give a fuck about my working situation and the added fucking pressures I have on me to find a fucking job. So we'll see what the fuck happens with this other development. I do have a guy sticking his neck out for me with the car maintenance job. He's trying to help me out as best I can, and I am so thankful for that. I've known this guy for a number of years, and it's like we kind of grew apart there for a long time, and then we met up at by mistake at a car show, and we get to talking again, and we exchanged numbers, and we get to talking. He was a teacher of mine at one time, and taught me a lot of shit about new cars and stuff, on how to work on them, and years ago. But anyway, he's trying to stick his neck out for me because he knows some people in this around this job. He knows a few folks, so he's going to help me out, and I'm very grateful for the help, and I can't thank the guy enough. So, I really appreciate that shit. The guy, he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do this. I'm not expecting anybody to stick their neck out for me because I'm such a poor son of a bitch. I don't have anything really. I haven't had much all my life. I do have a few vehicles. I like to really participate in the hobby of hot rodding, and as much as I can, and I try to do it as much as I can, and I try to spend money when I have it on it. And it doesn't always work out that way, and especially in this part of the country. I'm in the the Northeast and Maryland and the western part of it. And, Deep Creek Lake is 30 minutes from me. And everybody in the state thinks, because you live in Garrett County, that you have deep pockets and you have lots of nice things because there's a lake basically in your backyard. And I don't have those things. I mean, I'm further away from the lake, and these rental places on the lake that we delivered some concrete to my last day working up there, these homes it's like a gated community, but it's a rental gated community. And people rent these homes by the week or by the month or whatever. And it's like for a week, it was like $40-some thousand to rent a fucking home away from home just so you could participate in activities at the ski resort or at the lake. And it's like, really? I can't wrap my head around that. I didn't think such things existed around here. That's just, around that lake up there is not a place I spend my time. Because, for one, I can't swim. I don't like boats. So I'd stay the fuck out of the water. I just don't go there. And, they're under the presumption that there's lots and lots of money here, and there isn't. If you were a business owner and you had stuff to do with that up there, yeah. If you can get a loan and you are into something that everybody has to have, yeah, you can make lots of money up there. You can really make a good living for yourself. I know some folks that have like excavating businesses where they clear property for people, and they're like contractors. They go out there and do jobs for people, and they charge them. And I don't know the ins and outs of business like that, so I don't know anything about that. I didn't take a college course when I got out of school, and I should have. The trouble is with today. Ouch. Anyway, I got fucked up skin on my arms and shit. Anyhow, I never took any business college courses when I got out of school. I was stupid and I didn't do anything when I got out of school. I just went to work, thinking that if I stayed at one place that I would have a retirement. And that is a crock of shit right there. Unless you're working for the state and you can maintain that job, you're not going to retire from anywhere. Unless you're working for the state or you're a railroader or you're working for fucking Amtrak, or you have a really good union job. Unions aren't really good these days anymore. The unions are usually, corrupt these days. But I know CSX is a union. They had a real good union. I know a few guys that retired from there, and they have been retired for quite some time, and they are living life. They're living well. And because they have health care, they have their retirement. In some cases, they're making more money than what they did when they were working, being retired. And I mean, that's the life to have, really, is not having to go to work, not having to worry about money, not having to, get up and necessarily do something. You decide what you want to do. When you have retirement plans like that, and it's like everything's so screwed up today with Social Security and taxes and, what do I want to say? Healthcare, stuff like that. That's stuff that you got to think about. If you don't have a pension from somewhere and you don't have any health insurance, you can't afford it on your own, and you just don't have anything, I mean, fuck, you can't retire. I'm in a position right now where I just cannot retire unless I land a really good job for the state or for Garrett County. There's union, their unionized place, or the railroad union. I'm not in the equipment operators union. Thing is, though, you're never home when you're on unions like that. You're never home. You're always on the road. You're always traveling and working. And that's not the life I want. I don't want to be traveling. I don't want to work out of town. I don't want to do that shit because it's just not something I want to do. I'm not interested in that. I want to stay home. I mean, I love this place. I don't want to leave it. I was born here. I've lived here all my life. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to travel. I don't want to go overseas. I don't want to go to Canada. I don't want to go to Mexico. I don't want to go to Florida. I want to stay here because I don't need to see anything anywhere else. Now, like I always wanted to do Power Tour. It seemed like a pain in the ass when I watched it on YouTube. It's like like that Sick Week and all that shit where you basically beat your car. You get your old car, you get supplies and shit, you stay in fucking hotels the whole time, and it goes on for a week, and you got checkpoints you got to hit, and you got a drag race, and and all that other shit, or put your car in a car shit, whatever. You got checkpoints you got to hit. And the trouble with that is that costs money because you're thinking of, you got to eat, you got to get gas, you got to, you're beating on your car, and I just don't have the money to do that. The very first time I ever wanted to do anything, I wanted to go to Memphis Motorsports Park and get down there to the fastest streetcar shootout. That's what I always wanted to do. The National Muscle Car Association always put on every year. And I just wanted to go down there and watch those people. I didn't necessarily have to be a part of it. I just wanted to get down there and see it. And I never got the chance to get down. Now, I joined the NMCA there for a couple of years. And one time they sent me tickets to go. They sent me tickets to go to Memphis. And I never used them because I didn't have the money to go. And, I mean, it was free admission to get in. But that was it. I mean, you got a ticket to go. You could have flown down or drove down or whatever. It'd probably be more practical to fly down from here, and then just kind of, take a bus or fucking rent or a car or something and get down there and watch that shit and then come home. But the furthest I've ever been is probably Carlisle, PA. Easterly, going out west, probably Fairmont, Bridgeport, and West Virginia is the furthest I've ever been. Furthest I've ever been in Pennsylvania is probably Pittsburgh. I haven't been any further than that. Went to Winchester, Virginia recently, got that cop car. That's the furthest I've been in Virginia ever. So really, I'm not a traveler. I'm not interested in that. And, if you're in the dating scene these days, it's like women love to travel. They're like elephants. They love to travel. They're always wanting to be on the move. And I just don't want to do that. I want to wrench on my stuff. I want to improve my vehicles. I have such a fucking passion for shit. And a lot of people have told me that they just can't believe the love I have for hot rodding and fucking with these old cars. And I love it. I eat it. I sleep it. I shit and piss it. I just can't get enough of it. I love it. And I'm always bitching about electric cars because I don't think that stuff needs to be around. You already know my view on that shit. So Anyway, I'm rambling here again. I got to get off here and get in the house. It's getting late. Everybody, like, share, comment, subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one.